The Porsche 912, ah yes, the leaner, sneakier, inexplicably cooler cousin of the more high-maintenance 911, is not so much a car as it is a philosophical contradiction on four Michelin-sold dreams, a Zen koan wrapped in steel and simplicity, a rolling haiku that whispers through canyons and autobahns alike. I may not be fast, but I am eternal, because while the world drooled over the 911's fire-breathing, rear-engine antics, the 912 quietly walked in, wearing a tailored tweed jacket and aviator glasses, leaned against the wall, lit a cigarette with a match struck off your insecurities, and proceeded to outhandle, outlast, and outcool every other car at the dance. For you see, the 912 isn't concerned with brute speed, no, it's concerned with balance, with grace, with achieving nirvana at 65 miles per hour while listening to Kraftwerk through a radio that only half works. Its flat four-engine purring like a well-fed housecat on a warm dashboard, a mere 90 horsepower of pure, unfiltered, analog honesty delivered with all the dramatic flair of a German librarian suddenly deciding to join a punk band. And let's talk about the shape. Oh, that shape. The same iconic sloping silhouette that launched 1,000 t-shirts, posters, tattoos, and collector bidding wars, but somehow in the 912 it just looks sleeker, less egotistical, more, I read Camus and heel-toe downshifts in the rain, the headlights peering into your soul like twin moons of Stuttgart longing for a simpler time, and when you slide into the driver's seat, no, when you lower yourself reverently into that low-slung cockpit of mechanical minimalism, greeted by gauges the size of dinner plates and a steering wheel made from compressed childhood dreams, you're not just getting into a car, you're entering a relationship, a sacred bond between man and machine that demands attention, finesse, and at least a passing understanding of European sarcasm, because the 912 doesn't coddle you with power steering or power brakes or traction control or any modern crutches. Instead, it hands you the keys, shrugs in German, and says, you figure it out, and you do figure it out. Oh, how you figure it out. Learning every nuance of its telepathic steering, every twitch of its lightly rear-biased soul, every whimper and growl of its air-cooled heart that beats like a metronome inside a jazz solo. And yes, it's slower than your grandma's internet and makes 0 to 60 feel more like a lifestyle than a statistic, but you don't care, because while other cars blur the world into a smear of noise and nonsense, the 912 reveals it. Every tree, every corner, every piece of gravel becomes part of the experience, part of the dance, part of a slow-motion ballet where the driver is the conductor and the road is the orchestra, and you, maestro, are a deity in loafers and leather gloves, conducting mechanical poetry in G minor. And oh, did I mention it's light? Lighter than a TikTok attention span, featherweight compared to its turbocharged grandsons, so nimble it makes most modern cars feel like driving a marshmallow wearing ankle weights, and the brakes, unassisted, honest, demanding, like an old martial arts master who won't let you graduate until you do a perfect heel-toe into a second-gear hairpin. Or just one part of the sacred trinity that is the 912's chassis, gearbox, and soul, and that gearbox, that delicate, mechanical wand of shifting purity, notchy and precise, like slicing through firm tofu with a samurai sword, reminds you that driving should be participatory, not passive, a verb, not a noun. And even though the 912 was meant to be the entry-level Porsche, the budget option, the little brother, it ended up being the sleeper, the iconoclast, the rebel monk who left the monastery of horsepower in search of enlightenment through handling, balance, and the kind of feedback that modern cars would need a PhD in neural implants to replicate. And don't even get me started on the sound, that raspy, flat four chatter that rises and falls like a caffeinated typewriter on a bumpy road, echoing through the valleys like an angry swarm of precision bees in driving loafers. And you know what? You love it, you live for it, because it's not just noise, it's conversation, the 912 telling you how it feels, what it needs, whether that next corner is a suggestion or a threat, and when you get it right, when you thread the perfect line through a twisting mountain pass with the early morning mist still clinging to the asphalt and your foot feathering the throttle like a jazz pianist on the final note, the 912 doesn't reward you with explosions or fanfare or neck-snapping torque. No, it gives you a nod, a wink, a subtle, well done, in the form of perfect balance and cosmic satisfaction, and suddenly you understand, you get it, why collectors whisper about the 912 like it's a secret too pure to share, why it still haunts vintage rallies and enthusiast forums like a ghost with a gearbox, why people who drive them don't shut up about them for decades and leave them in their wills to grandchildren who aren't even born yet, because the Porsche 912 isn't just a car, it's a statement, a lifestyle, a silent rebellion against the horsepower wars and touchscreen everything of today's automotive dystopia. And when you pull into a gas station and someone asks, is that a 911? You just smile, shake your head, and whisper, better, it's a 912, before sliding back in, cranking that cranky, glorious flat 4 to life, and disappearing down the road like a legend in low gear, sleek, simple, eternal.